Hello, I'd like to read something for you. I think you might find it quite interesting. From childhood onwards, we are taught a great deal that is wrong about the psychology of animals. In fables, fairy tales and stories describing animal life and behaviour, we're often presented with living beings that think, understand human speech and perform moral or immoral acts. If we adopt these anthropomorphic views, we shall be at a disadvantage whenever we try to train animals of any kind, but particularly when we are dealing with dogs. We can save ourselves much disappointment and ensure the dog's more rapid and cheerful response to instruction by allowing him to learn in the canine way. This gentleman expressed these views in 1906. That's 112 years ago. Now this chap is called Conrad Most, and he was considered in the early part of the 20th century to be the father of modern dog training, behaviour and psychology. And unfortunately, if he came back today, he wouldn't see that there's been much change. People still think that dogs are just humans, and they're not. So let me tell you what I think. Dogs are not put on this earth to be our friends, to be our companions, to be our soulmates. They're not put on this earth to make our family whole and bring it all together. They're not put on this earth to entertain your children, to help bring your children up, to teach your children responsibility. They're not put on this earth to help you get fit, to help you through an emotional crisis. They're not put on this earth as toys or playthings or lifestyle choices or lifestyle statements or weapons. They're put on this earth to do what pretty much every other life form is put on this earth to do, and that is to put as many copies of their genes out there as possible to maintain the species. Now, in the 200 years or so that people have taken dogs as pets, and it's only been around about 200 years. Prior to that, dogs were either working dogs or scavengers. In those 200 years, I'm not saying that some dogs have not helped some people in those situations. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but the danger comes when you buy a dog to fulfill one of those requirements, because the dog is not designed to fulfill one of those requirements. So for example, if you buy a dog for your children and the dog ends up biting your children, that's not worked. If you buy a dog to help you get fit and then you don't want to get fit anymore, the dog's not fulfilled any purpose whatsoever. And if you're going through some sort of emotional crisis and you buy a dog to help you through this, and for the first 6 months you've got the dog, it does nothing but pee and poo in the house, chew your furniture, constantly annoy you and constantly annoy your guests, it's not going to help you through your troubles. We have to recognize what a dog is, and we have to stop exaggerating the things that dogs can do for us, and recognize quite simply that a dog is born a dog, the dog will die a dog, and it's what we do in between that will dictate whether we have a successful relationship with that dog or not.